Hello and welcome to Solopreneur, the show that helps business owners who are flying solo to solve their big sales, marketing and systems challenges one episode at a time. You can watch the video version of this episode at solopreneur.com. I'm Gareth Everson, and on today's episode, I'd like you to think about a key question that I'm going to pose to you. What is it that accountants do in their business and in their marketing and the way that they manage their processes that's different and sets them aside from any other business? As I started thinking about today's episode, I reflected on one thing that small businesses and marketing agencies are really terrible at, and that's being able to demonstrate to themselves and to their clients dependability and consistency and continuity. If you look at accountants that have established themselves and have good reputations in their marketplace, they have this dependability and this continuity and this consistency running through the core of their business. They've got processes, they've got people, they've got systems when it comes to managing their clients and their operations fully nailed down. And it's really reassuring to be able to see that when you're considering maybe changing your accountant or hiring an accountant for the first time. It's absolutely imperative that an accountancy business gets that right, because if they don't have those things in place and they miss timescales or they misreport or they don't follow the regulatory processes that they're bound by, they can end up in jail. But why does it have to need this regulated situation to have these kind of things in place for your business? Marketing agencies, by contrast to accountants, are absolutely terrible at this. They're great at having a vision of what they want to do for their clients and implementing that and executing against that vision. But in terms of then having continuity plans and steps in place and backup resources, were that client to take on their projects and their assets themselves afterwards, sometimes that's really missing in those environments. And if you look at your own business, have you got in place some of those key things that help you to run your business in a consistent and predictable and repeatable type way? Not only your internal processes, but do you have those pieces in place that when your clients look at you, they see you as that dependable source of continuity and predictability? So that's what I want to talk about on today's episode. The reason for this episode, and indeed this series, as it will turn into a mini-series around systems management, is that I'm seeing an awful lot of businesses at the moment, whether they're solo-owned businesses or small businesses that are starting to get some traction. I'm seeing a lot of businesses that don't have this kind of business continuity and this systems management piece in place for their business, and it's causing them to start spinning wheels. It's almost one of these jigsaw pieces that, without thinking about it and without being conscious of it, creates almost this chaos in your business that holds you back, that stops you from being able to turn your startup business into a scale-up business. Remember on episode 24, we talked about the forks in the road. And once you get to the point where you're able to consistently bring leads in and turn them into clients, that's when you turn from being a startup business into a scale-up. And systems management is one of these cornerstones of being able to do that effectively. If you think about your car, and this is pretty personal to me at the moment because I'm not at all mechanical when it comes to physical things. Digital things I'm pretty comfortable with, but when it comes to physical things, I'm not at all mechanical whatsoever. In fact, I'm pretty incompetent at all of those kind of things. When I start my car at the moment and it's in first gear or in reverse, when it moves forward, it's making this kind of juddering motion. And that to me is sort of analogous with a lot of businesses that I've encountered over the last year to 18 months, in that you have the intention of doing something effectively, but there's something that's holding you back. And it's not just about your positioning or your marketing. It's having the right things in place that give you the confidence to be able to market and sell what you do without disruption, without confusion, without chaos behind the scenes. You wouldn't drive a car that was unfit for the road. You definitely wouldn't drive it if you had a loose wheel or loose steering wheel. So why do you do that in your business? And in the course of this little mini series, we're going to explore some of the continuity factors that are associated with running a small business effectively and turning it from a startup business that is in somewhat chaos to one that has this consistency to be able to scale up without wheels falling off. I'm not going to go into all the components of systems management on this episode, but I do want to sow a seed in your mind to look out for some of these concepts over the next few episodes in the series. And I boiled it down to, as you probably expect from me, not quite an acronym, but 5 Ps to think about. That 5 Ps may change into 4 or 6 or 7 different P's or other letters over the course of this mini-series. But as I was thinking about this introductory episode, it boiled down to these 5 Ps. And I've got people, processes, platforms, passwords, and products. Maybe not perfectly described in terms of what you need for systems management, but in a nutshell, I think those 5 things are some of the common problems or some of the common failings that small business owners fail to have in their sites when they're structuring how they manage the systems in their business. Let's just briefly talk through each of those in turn. So the first one's an obvious one, people. This is all about the people that help you to run your business, whether they're on payroll staff or they're VAs or they're associates that help you to run the way that you manage your business. And having the right people in place who are trained in the right way, they're guided in the right way, they're running towards the same core values that you have for your business is ever so important. So this is about having rules of the road, if you like, for anybody that's involved in helping you to run your business. So that's people. Then we've got processes. And processes might relate to marketing and sales processes like we've discussed around the Lemonade Plan. Remember, I talk about the Lemonade Plan methodology as a summary of the 8 processes that we need to have in place to manage the sales and marketing in our business. Somewhere in your business, you should have documented the way that you're going to manage not just your sales and marketing processes following Lemonade Plan by way of example, but also other key processes in your business. It might be finance and admin. It might be the way that you deal with customer service. It might be the way that you deal with complaints and issues that are coming into your business. But those key processes will help define the way that your business is able to run. So we're going to cover processes in this series as well. The next one is platforms. Platforms is all about the mechanics of how you run your business. What are the components that you're running your business on? There'll be key ones like your website, your accounting software, your social media platforms that you're using. That's what I'm referring to by way of platforms. And I've got some ideas on this and some fairly challenging thoughts on this that come from experiences of working with clients over the last 12 to 18 months specifically on that. Then we've got a category that I've just simply called passwords. I'm seeing so much at the moment, and without wanting to have too many spoilers for this episode, I'm seeing so many different issues at the moment with businesses that have failed to keep their assets and their content and their platforms as secure as they should do. So passwords covers all of that security around your systems management. And then the final P that I've drafted is products. Products covers everything that you deliver for your clients. So how are you creating an environment where there's stability and consistency and scalability and security around how you deliver those products and services for your clients? This intertwines with processes and people, but your products are ever so important in terms of if you were to lose those, if you were to lose key assets or key parts of how you deliver your services or products to your clients, what would that do to your business? And how could you recover a situation if you faced a situation where you weren't able to deliver things in the same way as you're able to deliver them now? So products is, as things stand, the 5th P in our systems management series. So I'm going to leave you with this thought. Around all of those 5 Ps, there will be a core of key things that form how you manage those things. But actually, some of your vulnerabilities, some of your frailties in how you're able to keep those working and keep those wheels on the car actually come from vulnerabilities that are caused by add-ons or plugins or mini relationships that you have with people or processes or things that you mix into your business. I'll give you, by way of an example, on the platforms front, the majority of small businesses run WordPress. But how many plugins does your WordPress website have that you need to stay on top of? When was the last time, if you're managing it yourself, that you looked on your WordPress website to check that everything was up to date? There are so many vulnerabilities, even in that just one space, that can impact businesses like that. And before they know it, their website's down, they don't have a recovery mode, and their business vehicle for generating new customers and indeed having a profile online that gives you credibility is gone in a flash. So that's just one example of add-ons around that core periphery that you just need to have in mind. So in the next episode, I'm going to be talking through the first of those 5 Ps, and that's around your people. So stay tuned for that. If you've got any questions around this topic, or you've got things that are on your mind around how you manage your systems and the continuity in your business, don't hesitate to drop me a line. The best place to do that is at askgareth.com, where that will take you through to my LinkedIn profile, where if we're not already connected, please request that we do so. Mention that you've heard about me on the podcast, and my DMs are open if you want to have a conversation there. So stay tuned for the next episode where we'll be talking about the first of those 5 Ps, people. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Solopreneur podcast. Remember that what we learned today builds more value if there's a plan to take action on it tomorrow. So head to solopreneur.com and check out our growing community of action takers and all the training and software that you need to build a scalable business without breaking the bank. And if you value the show, please help others to discover it too by leaving us a review wherever you get your podcasts, or by sharing a link to an episode on LinkedIn or wherever your finger does its scrolling.